The alien ship moved through the darkness of space like a crystal floating in black water. Its surface was smooth and clear, reflecting the distant stars. Inside the ship, Commander Zixtal stood before a large screen showing a small blue planet. His body was made of living crystal that changed colors with his mood. Right now, he glowed soft blue, which meant he felt confident and happy. "So this is Earth," he said to his crew. His voice sounded like wind chimes in a gentle breeze. "The records say it is a Class 13 Deathworld, the most dangerous rating we have." His second officer, Kethmar, moved closer to the screen. Kethmar was younger and his crystal body flickered with curious yellow light. "Commander, I have read the files many times. I do not understand how any life could survive on such a world. The reports describe terrible storms, poisonous plants, and deadly creatures everywhere." Zixtal laughed, a sound like small bells ringing. "The Council believes these reports are wrong. Perhaps the humans who made them were trying to scare other species away, or maybe the early scouts made mistakes. Look at our ship, Kethmar. We have shields that can stop laser beams. We have medicine that can heal any wound. We have technology these humans cannot even dream of." The ship's computer spoke in a calm voice. "Approaching Earth orbit in 10 minutes. All systems working perfectly. No signs of advanced weapons or defenses from the planet." Zixtal nodded. "You see? If this world was truly dangerous, would the humans not have better defenses? They must be a simple people who barely survived on their world by hiding in caves or underground." Far below on Earth, Captain Jake Morrison sat in the command center of the orbital defense platform called Liberty. The platform floated in space above Earth, watching for anything unusual. Jake was a tall man with short brown hair and calm green eyes. He had been a soldier for 20 years and had seen many strange things, but never aliens. The warning alarm made a loud beeping sound. Jake looked at his screen and saw a large object moving toward Earth. It was too big to be a meteor and too smooth to be a rock. "Lucy, what do you see out there?" Jake asked his computer officer. Lieutenant Lucy Chun typed quickly on her keyboard. She was a small woman with black hair tied back in a neat ponytail. Her dark eyes were focused on the numbers and symbols on her screen. "Captain, I am reading one ship about 2 kilometers long. It is made of some kind of crystal or glass. The shape is not like any human ship I have ever seen." Jake felt his heart beat faster, but he kept his voice steady. "Is it armed?" "I do not see any weapons, sir. But the material it is made from is blocking most of our scans. It could be hiding something." Jake picked up his radio. "This is Captain Morrison to Earth Command. We have first contact. I repeat, we have first contact. One alien ship approaching Earth orbit." The voice of Admiral Susan Wright came through the radio. She was the head of Earth Space Defense and one of the smartest people Jake knew. "Jake, follow Protocol 7. Make contact, but do not let them land without permission. Dr. Park is on her way up to help." Dr. Lisa Park was Earth's top expert on the possibility of alien life. She had spent her whole career thinking about what aliens might be like and how humans should talk to them. Jake was glad she was coming. "Computer, open a channel to the alien ship," Jake ordered. On the screen, a strange figure appeared. It looked like a person made of blue crystal that sparkled in the light. When it spoke, its voice was beautiful but strange. "Greetings, people of Earth. I am Commander Zixtal of the Galactic Council ship, Harmony's Edge. We come in peace to welcome you to the greater community of the galaxy." Jake straightened his shoulders. This was the most important moment in human history. "Commander Zixtal, this is Captain Jake Morrison of the Earth Defense Platform Liberty. Welcome to our solar system. We are honored by your visit." Zixtal's crystal body glowed brighter with pleasure. "Captain Morrison, we have traveled far to meet your people. The Galactic Council wishes to offer you gifts of technology and knowledge. We would like to land on your world and learn about your culture. We appreciate your generous offer, Commander. However, our protocols require that we first establish proper communications and safety measures. We would like to arrange a meeting in space before any landing takes place." "On the alien ship?" Kethmar whispered to his commander. They seem very organized for primitives. And look at their orbital platform. It is crude but functional. Zixtel waved a crystal hand. They probably learned to build simple things by copying crashed meteors or ancient ruins. Do not worry. He turned back to the screen. Captain Morrison, we understand your caution. We are happy to meet in space first. We will send a small shuttle to your station. Jake nodded. That is acceptable. Please approach slowly and follow the path our computers will send you. We will have our top scientists ready to meet with you. As the call ended, Lucy looked at Jake with worried eyes. Captain, should we trust them? They seem friendly, but we know nothing about them. Jake thought about all the science fiction movies he had watched as a child. In most of them, the aliens were either very good or very bad. But real life was usually more complicated than movies. Lucy, Dr. Park always said that if aliens could travel between stars, they would be much smarter than us. If they wanted to hurt us, they probably could do it easily. The fact that they are talking to us first is a good sign. Dr. Lisa Park arrived on the Liberty an hour later. She was a woman in her 50s with gray hair and bright blue eyes behind thick glasses. She carried a bag full of books and computers. Jake had never seen her look so excited. Jake, this is amazing. I have spent my whole life wondering about this moment. What are they like? How do they communicate? Do they breathe oxygen? Slow down, Lisa. They look like people made of crystal. They speak English somehow, or their computers translate for them. They say they come from something called the Galactic Council. Lisa's eyes got even wider. A Galactic Council. That means there are many alien species, not just one. Earth is about to become part of something much bigger than we ever imagined. The alien shuttle approached Liberty like a small star. It was beautiful and smooth, with no visible engines or weapons. Jake watched it dock with their station and wondered if this was the beginning of a new age for humanity, or the end of the world as they knew it. Inside the alien ship, Commander Zixtel prepared to meet the humans. He put on his best ceremonial robes and checked his translation device. The Class 13 rating still bothered him, but he was sure it was a mistake. How dangerous could one small planet really be? 3 weeks had passed since the first meeting between humans and the crystal aliens. The talks in space had gone well, and now the aliens had permission to build a small research base on Earth. They chose the Nevada desert because their computers said it was one of the safest places on the planet. Commander Zixtel stood inside the newly built alien base, looking at the reports from his science team. The base was a beautiful crystal dome that kept the desert heat outside and maintained the cool, clean air his people needed to survive. Through the clear walls, he could see the empty desert stretching in all directions. The humans seemed friendly. Enough, he told Kethmer, who was now his head scientist on Earth. But I still do not understand why this world has such a terrible rating. Look around us. This desert is peaceful and quiet. Kethmer's crystal body flickered with nervous yellow lights. Commander, I have been reading more about this planet. The things I have learned worry me. Did you know that humans eat plants that contain poison? They do this on purpose because they like the taste. Zixtel laughed. Kethmer, you read too many scary stories. These humans are clearly simple people who have learned to survive on their world. They cannot be as dangerous as the old reports claim. Outside the base, Dr. Amy Rodriguez was walking toward the alien dome. She was a cheerful woman with curly brown hair and a big smile. As Earth's top expert on different cultures, she had been chosen to help the aliens learn about human life. She carried a cooler full of food and drinks for their first official cultural exchange meeting. Amy knocked on the crystal door of the base. A section of the wall became transparent, and she could see Kethmer approaching. The alien scientist looked like a tall person made of clear blue crystal. When he moved, light danced through his body in beautiful patterns. Dr. Rodriguez, Kethmer said as the door opened. Welcome to our research station. We are very excited to learn about human culture. Amy stepped inside and immediately felt the cool air. Please call me Amy. This place is amazing. How do you make the walls so clear and strong? It is a simple crystal growing technique, Kethmer explained, leading her deeper into the base. We grow our buildings the same way your people might. Grow plants. They reached a meeting room where Commander Zixtal was waiting. His crystal body glowed with warm blue light, showing he was happy and relaxed. Amy, thank you for coming, the commander said. We hope to learn much about your world and your people. Perhaps you could tell us about the places where humans live. Amy sat down in a chair that seemed to grow from the crystal floor. Well, humans live almost everywhere on Earth. We have cities in hot deserts, cold mountains, tropical jungles, and even near the North and South Poles. Kethmer's body flickered with confused colors. Everywhere. But surely you only live in the safest places? Oh no, Amy laughed. Humans love to explore and live in new places. Some of our biggest cities are built right on earthquake lines. Others are in areas that get hit by hurricanes every year. We just learned to deal with the dangers. The two aliens looked at each other with what Amy thought might be worry. Perhaps, Commander Zixtal said carefully, you could show us some of these places? We would like to understand how humans survive in different environments. Amy's face lit up. That's a great idea. I was thinking we could take a little trip. I can show you some of my favorite places in America. We could start with something easy like Death Valley. Kethmer's crystal body turned a dark purple color. Death Valley? The name sounds very dangerous. Oh, it's not that bad, Amy said with a wave of her hand. It's just a desert valley. It gets a little hot in summer, maybe 120 degrees, but this is winter, so it should only be around 80 degrees. Perfect weather for hiking. The aliens had to use their computers to convert human temperature numbers to their own system. When they saw the results, both aliens started glowing bright red, which meant they were very alarmed. Amy, Commander Zixtal said slowly, those temperatures would kill most species in the galaxy. How do humans survive in such heat? Amy looked confused. We just drink lots of water and wear hats. Humans have been living in deserts for thousands of years. It's really not a big deal. The next day, Amy took the aliens on their first field trip to Death Valley. The aliens had to wear special environmental suits that covered their crystal bodies completely. The suits had cooling systems, air filters, and emergency medical equipment. They looked like they were preparing to walk on an alien planet. Amy wore shorts, a t-shirt, and a baseball cap. Are you sure you do not need protective equipment? Kethmer asked through his suit's speaker. His voice sounded very worried. I'm fine, Amy said, putting on sunglasses. I brought sunscreen and a water bottle. That's all humans need in weather like this. They walked through the valley for an hour. Amy pointed out interesting rocks and talked about the history of the area. She seemed completely comfortable in the heat that was making the aliens cooling. Systems work at maximum power. This is where my family used to come camping when I was a kid, Amy said, sitting down on a rock. My dad would bring us here every summer. We'd sleep outside under the stars. You slept outside? Commander Zixtal asked in horror. With no protection from the environment? Sure, it's actually cooler at night. Sometimes it gets down to 70 degrees. That's perfect sleeping weather. The aliens' computers were running constant checks on their environmental suits. Warning lights blinked as the system struggled to keep their crystal bodies at safe temperatures. Meanwhile, Amy was enjoying the sunshine and taking pictures with her phone. After Death Valley, Amy took them to the Pacific Ocean. I thought, you might like to see where I do my research, she said. I study how different cultures use the ocean for food and transportation. The aliens looked at the vast blue water with terror. Their computers detected dangerous salt levels, unpredictable wave patterns, and thousands of life forms moving under the surface. Humans go into this water? Kethmer asked. All the time, Amy said, pulling off her shoes. Want to go for a swim? Before the aliens could stop her, Amy ran into the waves and dove under the water. She disappeared for several seconds while the aliens watched in panic. When she came back up, she was laughing and had water dripping from her hair. The water's perfect. Today, she called out, not too cold. The aliens' computers told them the water temperature was cold enough to kill them in minutes. Even with their environmental suits, that evening they sat in a restaurant near the beach. Amy ordered fish tacos and a beer. She offered to share with the aliens, but they politely refused. Their food analysis computers had detected dozens of compounds in human food that would be deadly to most galactic species. Amy, Commander Zixtel said carefully, when you were in the ocean today, were you not afraid of the dangerous creatures that live there? Amy looked puzzled. What dangerous creatures? Oh, you mean sharks? There are some great whites around here, but they rarely bother people. I've been swimming in these waters since I was 5 years old. Kethmar's body turned bright purple again. Sharks? What are sharks? Amy pulled out her phone and showed them pictures. They're big fish with lots of teeth. Some of them can grow to be 20 feet long, but they're really not that dangerous, if you know what you're doing. The aliens stared at the pictures of massive predators with rows of sharp teeth. According to their computers, these creatures were large enough and powerful enough to be classified as apex predators on any world. And human children swim in water with these creatures? Commander Zixtel asked. Well, yeah. I mean, we teach kids to be careful and not to swim alone. But millions of people swim in the ocean every day. It's one of our favorite things to do. That night, back at their base, the two aliens sat in worried silence. Finally, Kethmar spoke. Commander, I am beginning to think the Class 13 rating might not be an error. Zixtel's crystal body was glowing a deep purple color. Kethmar, these humans walk into environments that would kill us in minutes. They do it for fun. They bring their children to these places. What kind of species evolves this way? A species, Kethmar said quietly, that comes from a Class 13 Deathworld. Outside their safe crystal dome, they could hear the wind blowing across the desert. To the aliens, it sounded like the planet itself was laughing at them. The alien research base was quiet except for the humming of computers working day and night. For the past week, Kethmar had been running detailed scans of everything on Earth. What he found made his crystal body glow with fear colors that he had never shown before. Commander Zixtel walked into the laboratory where Kethmar was staring at screens full of data. The younger scientist's body was flickering between purple and red, which meant he was both scared and very upset. Kethmar, you have been working for 3 days without rest. What have you discovered that troubles you so much? Kethmar turned to face his commander. His voice shook like broken glass. Commander, I have been scanning the plants and animals of this world. I think we have made a terrible mistake coming here. What do you mean? Kethmar touched a control, and the main screen showed pictures of earth plants. Look at these. This one is called poison ivy. Humans avoid it because touching it makes their skin hurt. But Commander, the chemical it produces is used as a weapon on 12 different worlds. It is banned by the Galactic War Crimes Treaty. Zixtel moved closer to the screen. That cannot be right. Run the scan again. I have run it 15 times. The results are always the same. Kethmar changed the picture. This plant is called nightshade. It grows wild in human gardens. The poison it makes can kill most galactic species with just a tiny amount, but humans grow it next to their food plants. The commander's crystal body began to glow a worried orange color. Show me more. This is called a rose. Humans give these to each other as gifts of love, but see these sharp spikes? They are coated with bacteria that would cause deadly infections in most species. Humans touch them with bare hands and only worry about small cuts. Kethmar brought up another image. And this is tobacco. Humans burn it and breathe the smoke into their lungs. Commander, this smoke contains over 200 different chemicals that are poison to most life forms. Humans do this because they enjoy it. Zixtel felt his legs getting weak. He sat down in a crystal chair that grew from the floor. What about the animals? Surely they cannot be as dangerous as the plants. Kethmar's body turned even darker purple. The animals are worse, Commander, much worse. Look at this creature called a mosquito. It is tiny, but it carries diseases that have killed millions of humans throughout their history. Yet humans consider it only a small annoyance. The screen showed a tiny flying insect. To the aliens, it looked like a miniature monster. "This is a spider," Kethmore continued. "There are thousands of different types. Many of them have poison that can kill large animals. But humans let them live in their houses because they eat other insects." Zixtel stared at the 8-legged creature on the screen. "Humans share their homes with venomous predators?" "Yes, Commander. And this is a snake. Some of them have poison so deadly that one bite can kill an elephant. But humans keep some types. As pets, they feed them and play with them." The images kept coming. Each one made the aliens more frightened of the world outside their protective dome. They saw pictures of bears, sharks, alligators, and dozens of other creatures that their computers classified as extremely dangerous predators. "Kethmore," Zixtel said quietly, "what about the things humans eat? Surely their food is safe." Kethmore made a sound like crying crystal. "Commander, human food is the most terrifying thing of all. They eat something called hot peppers. The chemical that makes them hot is called capsaicin. We use this chemical as a non-lethal weapon to stop riots. Humans eat it because they think it tastes good." "That is impossible. I have the scans right here." "And they drink something called coffee. It contains caffeine, which is a powerful poison that kills insects. Humans drink it every morning to wake up." Zixtel's body was now glowing bright red. With alarm, "What else?" "They eat chocolate, which contains a chemical that would kill most pets if they ate it. They consume alcohol, which is a solvent used to clean electronic equipment. They eat fish that contains mercury, a metal so dangerous that most worlds ban it completely." The laboratory door opened and Amy Rodriguez walked in carrying a bag of food. Both aliens immediately started glowing with panic colors. "Hi there," Amy said cheerfully. "I brought some snacks for our afternoon meeting. I hope you guys like spicy food. I got some jalapeno chips and hot salsa." Kethmore quickly scanned the bag with his instruments. The readings made his body flicker like a broken light. "Amy, our computers say that food contains chemical weapons." Amy laughed. "Oh, you mean the Galapagos? They're not that hot. These are pretty mild, actually. I was going to bring ghost peppers, but I thought we should start with something easy." The aliens looked at each other in terror. If these were the mild peppers, what could the strong ones do? "Amy," Commander Zixtel said carefully, "perhaps you could tell us about human safety procedures. How do you protect yourself from all the dangerous things on your world?" Amy looked confused. "Dangerous things? I mean, we have some basic rules. Don't pet wild animals. Don't eat mushrooms you find in the woods unless you know what they are. Look both ways before crossing the street. Wear sunscreen at the beach. Pretty basic stuff." "That is all?" Kethmore asked in shock. "Well, we teach kids not to stick things in electrical outlets and to wash their hands before eating." "Oh, and don't run with scissors," Amy shrugged. "Most of Earth is pretty safe if you use common sense." The aliens stared at her. Their computers had detected over 10,000 different ways to die within walking distance of the base, and humans thought Earth was safe. "Amy," Zixtel said, "what is the most dangerous place on your planet?" Amy thought for a moment. "Probably Australia. They have some really nasty spiders and snakes down there. Oh, and box jellyfish. Those things can kill you in minutes. But people still live there. Sydney is a beautiful city." The aliens' computers immediately began searching for information about Australia. What they found made both of them glow colors that had no names in their language. "Amy," Kethmore said in a voice like breaking glass, "your computer network says that Australia has spiders that can kill humans in 15 minutes. Snakes with enough poison to kill 100 people, jellyfish that cause death in agony, sharks, crocodiles, and something called a drop bear." Amy giggled. "Oh, drop bears aren't real. That's just a joke we play on tourists. But yeah, Australia has some pretty intense wildlife. My friend Kate lives in Brisbane. She's always posting pictures of the cool animals in her backyard." "She posts pictures of deadly predators in her backyard?" Zixtel asked. "They're not all deadly. Most of the spiders are harmless, and the snakes usually leave you alone if you don't bother them. Kate's more worried about the heat and the bushfires than the animals. The aliens' computers translated bushfires as massive uncontrolled burning of vegetation across thousands of square kilometers. The fact that humans were more afraid of fire than venomous creatures made both aliens feel sick. "Amy," Kethmer said weakly, "do humans consider any place on Earth to be truly dangerous?" Amy thought about it seriously. "Well, there are some places we try to avoid. Active volcanoes can be pretty scary. The middle of Antarctica in winter is rough. The deep ocean trenches are mysterious and dangerous. Oh, and rush hour traffic in Los Angeles is absolutely terrifying." The aliens looked up Los Angeles traffic on the human internet. They saw millions of humans driving metal boxes at high speeds, just inches apart while talking on phones and drinking coffee. Their computers calculated the probability of survival for any alien species attempting this activity. The number was so low it barely registered. That night, Commander Zixtal sent an emergency message to the Galactic Council. Request immediate consultation on Earth mission. Planet classification may require urgent review. Local species demonstrates impossible survival capabilities. Require guidance on interaction protocols with Class 30 species. The response came back quickly. Classification is correct. Exercise extreme caution. Earth species are unique in galaxy. Do not attempt to match their environmental tolerance. Previous contact teams have required extended psychological rehabilitation. Zixtal turned to Kethmer, who was still reading about Australian wildlife. The Council confirms our fears. We are not the first to discover how dangerous this world is. Kethmer looked up from his screen. "Commander, I have been thinking. What if the Class 13 rating is not about the planet? What if it is about the humans themselves?" Outside their safe crystal dome, they could hear Amy setting up a campfire to cook dinner. She was singing a happy song while surrounded by a landscape. That could kill most galactic species in dozens of different ways. The aliens watched through their walls and wondered, what kind of evolution could create beings so perfectly adapted to survive in hell? The ground started shaking at exactly 6:47 in the morning. Inside the alien base, Commander Zixtal was thrown from his crystal chair as the entire building swayed back and forth. Warning lights flashed red all around the laboratory. The computers screamed alerts in their musical alien language. "Emergency! Emergency!" the base computer announced. "Seismic activity detected. Tectonic plates shifting. Recommend immediate evacuation." Kethmer crawled across the shaking floor to reach the communications panel. His crystal body was flashing bright red with terror. "Commander, we must leave this planet immediately. The ground itself is trying to kill us." The shaking continued for what felt like hours but was really only 2 minutes. When it finally stopped, both aliens lay on the floor, too scared to move. Their homeworld was geologically stable. Nothing like this had ever happened in their species' history. "Status report," Zixtal said in a shaking voice. "Earthquake measuring 5.8 on the human scale," the computer reported. "Building integrity at 100%, no damage detected." The aliens slowly stood up. Through their crystal walls, they could see Amy Rodriguez walking toward their base. She was carrying a cup of coffee and looked completely calm. She was not running or screaming or doing any of the things that intelligent beings should do after the planet tried to shake them to death. "Good morning," Amy said cheerfully when they opened the door. "Did you guys feel that little earthquake?" "Not too bad for California. My coffee barely spilled." Both aliens stared at her. Kethmer's body was still flashing red. "Little earthquake?" "Amy, our computers say that seismic event could have destroyed cities," Amy laughed. "Oh no, that was pretty small. We don't really worry about earthquakes unless they're over 7.0. This was just a little tremor. Happens all the time here." "Oh, the time?" Commander Zixtal asked weakly. "Sure, California gets thousands of small earthquakes every year. Most people don't even notice them. We only pay attention to the big ones that knock stuff off shelves." Amy sat down in the crystal chair that grew from the floor. When I was a kid, we had an earthquake drill every month at school. The teacher would yell, drop, cover, and hold on, and we'd all hide under our desks. Then we'd go back to learning math like nothing happened. The aliens looked at each other. Their species taught children how to solve mathematical equations. Humans taught children how to survive. The planet trying to kill them. Amy, Kethmore said carefully, do humans choose to live in areas with earthquakes? Well, we don't really have a choice. Most of the good places to live are near fault lines. California, Japan, Italy, Turkey. All the fun places have earthquakes. You just learn to deal with it. Amy pulled out her phone and showed them pictures. See, this is San Francisco. Beautiful city, right? It's built right on top of several major fault lines. The whole city could shake apart any day, but 8 million people live there anyway. The pictures showed a large city with tall buildings and bridges, all sitting on top of what the aliens' computers identified as a geological disaster waiting to happen. But why? Commander Zixtel asked. Why would anyone choose to live in such danger? Amy shrugged. Good weather, nice beaches, great food. You can't let a little earthquake risk stop you from living your life. 2 days later, Amy took the aliens to meet Major Kevin Thompson at a military base in Colorado. Kevin was a big man with short gray hair and kind blue eyes. He worked in emergency response and had spent 20 years helping people during natural disasters. Amy told me you guys are interested in how we handle emergencies, Kevin said as he led them through the base. Today's perfect timing. We're doing a wildfire response drill. The aliens had to wear special protective suits again. Even inside the suits, they felt nervous about being so far from their safe base. Kevin showed them a large room with screens showing satellite images of forests. Red dots marked fires burning across the western United States. Right now, we have 23 active wildfires in California, 15 in Oregon, and 31 in Montana, Kevin explained. Pretty typical for this time of year. Kethmar's suit computer translated the data. Major Thompson, your computers show fires covering areas larger than some of our planets. How is this possible? Kevin pointed to the screens. Welcome to fire season. Every year, parts of our forests burn down. It's natural. The trees actually need fire to reproduce properly. We just try to keep the fires away from where people live. You let parts of your world burn on purpose? Commander Zixtal asked in horror. Sometimes, fire is part of nature here. We learned a long time ago that trying to stop all fires just makes bigger fires later. So we do controlled burns to prevent the really big ones. Kevin led them outside where they could see smoke rising from distant mountains. See that smoke? That's a prescribed burn. We started the fire yesterday to clear out dead trees and brush. The aliens stared at the smoke. Their computers told them the air contained dangerous particles and toxic gases. Yet humans were deliberately creating these conditions. Major Thompson. Amy said, tell them about the hotshots. Kevin smiled. Oh yeah, the hotshots. Those are our elite firefighters. When we get a really big fire that's threatening towns, we send in teams of hotshots. They actually run toward the fires with hand tools to build fire breaks. They run toward the fires? Kethmore asked. Yep, with axes and shovels. Some of the bravest people I know. They work in temperatures over 120 degrees, breathing smoke, surrounded by flames that can move faster than a car, and they volunteer to do it. The aliens' computers analyzed this information and determined that human firefighters regularly worked in conditions that would instantly kill most galactic species. But the most amazing thing, Kevin continued, is what happens after disasters. Take the town of Paradise, California. A few years ago, a wildfire burned the whole place down. Killed 85 people, destroyed 19,000 buildings. Most species would abandon the area forever. What did the humans do? Commander Zixtel asked, though he was afraid of the answer. They're rebuilding it, same spot, same fire-prone area. They just built better fire-resistant houses and improved their evacuation plans. The people who live there refused to leave their home. That afternoon, Amy introduced the aliens to the Chun family. who were camping in Yellowstone National Park. David and Maria Chun had brought their 5-year-old daughter Emma to see the geysers and wildlife. "This is so exciting," Maria said, as they walked along a trail. Emma loves seeing the bears and wolves. The aliens scanned the area with their computers. The readings showed they were walking through territory occupied by large predators above a supervolcano that could explode at any time, near boiling hot springs that could cook flesh in seconds. Little Emma ran ahead of her parents, laughing and pointing at everything she saw. She seemed completely unafraid of the deadly landscape around her. "Emma, stay on the trail," David called out. "And remember what we talked about if you see a bear." "I know, Daddy. Stand tall, make noise, and back away slowly. Don't run unless it charges." The aliens realized that human children were taught detailed survival strategies for encountering massive predators. This was considered normal parenting. They watched Emma approach a boiling hot spring. Steam rose from water that their computers said was hot enough to cause instant third-degree burns. Warning signs in multiple languages told people to stay back. "Pretty, isn't it?" Emma said, looking at the colorful minerals around the spring. "Mommy says the whole park sits on top of a giant volcano that could blow up someday. Does that scare you?" Kethmar asked through his speakers. Emma thought about it seriously. "Nope. Dottie says it probably won't happen for thousands of years, and if it does, it'll be really cool to see before we die." The aliens looked at each other. A human child was excited about the possibility of witnessing a volcanic explosion that could destroy half a continent. That night, back at their base, the aliens sat in shocked silence. Outside, they could hear the Chun family laughing around their campfire. The humans were sleeping outside, unprotected, in an area full of predators and geological hazards. "Commander," Kethmar said quietly, "I am beginning to understand why this world has a Class 13 rating." "Yes," Zixtel replied, "but I think we still do not understand the humans themselves. Any other species would have left this planet millions of years ago. But humans stayed. They adapted. They made this deadly world their home. More than that," Kethmar said. "They learn to love it. They seek out danger for entertainment. They rebuild in disaster zones. They teach their children to face predators. Through their crystal walls, they could see Emma Chun teaching her parents a song she had learned about volcanoes. The 5-year-old was singing happily about massive explosions and flowing lava, as if she was describing flowers and rainbows. "Kethmar," Commander Zixtel said, "I think we have discovered something that the Galactic Council needs to know. These humans are not just survivors of a death world. They are something new. Something that evolution has never created before." "What do you mean, Commander?" "They are a species that has become stronger than their environment. Earth could not kill them, so they learned to kill Earth right back. And now they call it home." "Outside?" Little Emma's laughter echoed across the dangerous landscape she considered a playground. Commander Zixtel stood in the communication room of his crystal base, staring at the message he was about to send to the Galactic Council. His body glowed with colors that had no names in his language. After 6 weeks on Earth, he finally understood why his people should be afraid. "Emergency evacuation request," he typed into the quantum communicator. "Mission to Earth must end immediately. Species classification requires urgent review. Human beings represent unprecedented evolutionary development. Council intervention needed." The response came back in less than an hour. "Request denied. Complete cultural study as ordered. Council representative arriving in 3 days for full report." Kethmar looked up from his research computer. His crystal body had been glowing dark purple for days now. "Commander, perhaps we should tell them everything we have learned. Maybe then they will understand." "I have tried, Kethmar. But how do you explain to beings who live on peaceful worlds that humans consider danger a form of entertainment?" "How? Do you tell them that Earth children play games that would kill adult members of most species?" Before Kethmar could answer, Amy Rodriguez knocked on their crystal door. She was smiling and carrying a backpack full of equipment. "Good morning," Amy said as she entered. "I have a surprise for you today. I thought we could visit one of my Favorite places in Colorado? It's called Devil's Tower, great hiking and rock climbing. Both aliens immediately started glowing alarm colors. Any place with devil in the name had to be incredibly dangerous. Amy, Commander Zixtel said carefully, perhaps we could visit somewhere safer today? Amy laughed. Devil's Tower isn't dangerous, it's just a big rock formation. Hundreds of people climb it every year. I've been going there since I was Emma's age. She pulled out her phone and showed them pictures of a massive stone tower rising from the plains. Tiny human figures could be seen hanging from ropes on the vertical rock face, hundreds of feet above the ground. You see those little dots on the side? Amy pointed to the pictures. Those are rock climbers. They climb up using just their hands and feet with ropes to catch them if they fall. Kethmer's computer analyzed the images. Amy, our calculations show that a fall from that height would result in certain death for most species. Well, yeah, that's why we use safety equipment. But rock climbing is really safe if you know what you're doing. The most dangerous part is usually driving to the climbing area. The aliens looked up human driving statistics on the internet. What they found made both of them glow brighter with fear. Humans drove metal vehicles at high speeds on narrow roads, often while eating, talking on phones, or listening to loud music. Millions of them did this every day, and they considered it normal transportation. 3 days later, the council representative arrived. Her name was Elder Sixara, and she was one of the oldest and wisest members of the Valthari species. Her crystal body was pale white with age, and she moved slowly but with great dignity. Commander Zixtel, she said as she exited her small ship, the Council is concerned about your reports. You claim that Earth humans are more dangerous than previously. Believed, explain. Zixtel led her into the base where Kethmer had prepared a detailed presentation. Elder Sixara, we have discovered that humans are not simply survivors of a death world. They have become something that evolution has never created before. Show me, the Elder said, settling into a crystal chair. Kethmer activated the main screen. Elder, humans regularly consume substances that are classified as weapons on other worlds. They live with predators that could kill them. They build cities on geological fault lines and in the paths of seasonal storms. The screen showed images of humans doing everyday activities. Drinking coffee, eating spicy food, swimming in oceans, hiking in mountains, driving cars, and playing sports. But Elder, Commander Zixtel said, this is not the most important discovery. The most important thing is how they think about danger. Explain. They do not fear it. They seek it out. They have created activities called extreme sports where the goal is to put themselves in dangerous situations for fun. The screen showed humans jumping out of airplanes, climbing mountains, surfing massive waves, and racing vehicles at incredible speeds. Elder Sixara watched in silence. Her ancient crystal body began to glow with deep, thoughtful colors. Elder, Kethmer continued, we have learned that humans have a saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. This is not just words. This is how they live. They believe that facing danger makes them better. And their children? The Elder asked. They teach them the same way. Human children learn to face fear as soon as they can walk. They call it building character. The screen showed videos of human children learning to ride bicycles, climb trees, swim in deep water, and handle small animals. To the aliens, it looked like systematic training for survival in hostile conditions. We have also discovered, Commander Zixtel said, that humans have been fighting their own planet for millions of years. Ice ages, volcanic eruptions, asteroid impacts, climate changes. Every disaster that should have killed them only made them stronger and smarter. Elder Sixara stood up slowly. Take me outside. I want to see this world for myself. The three aliens put on their environmental suits and walked out of the base. The desert around them was quiet and empty, but their computers detected hundreds of different ways to die within a few miles. It looks peaceful, the Elder said. That is what makes it so terrifying, Zixtel replied. Elder, this entire planet is a trap. It looks beautiful and safe, but it is constantly trying to kill everything on it. And the humans have learned to love it anyway. A sound made them look up. A small aircraft was flying overhead, leaving a white trail in the sky. Through their suits' telescopes, they could see a tiny human figure fall out of the aircraft and tumble through the air. "Emergency!" Kethmer shouted. "A human has fallen from their flying machine." They watched in horror as the falling human got smaller and smaller. Then suddenly a large fabric wing opened above the person, and they floated gently down to the ground about a mile away. "What just happened?" Elder Sixara asked. Amy's voice came through their radio communicator. "Oh, that's just someone skydiving. It's a popular hobby around here. People pay money to jump out of perfectly good airplanes." The three aliens stood in stunned silence. Humans paid money to experience what most species would consider a terrifying fatal accident. "Elder," Commander Zixtel said quietly, "now do you understand why we requested evacuation?" Elder Sixara was quiet for a long time. Finally, she spoke. "Commander, prepare your final report. We are leaving this world immediately." That evening, Admiral Susan Wright of Earth Space Command met with the aliens one last time. Susan was a calm woman with gray hair and intelligent eyes. She had been watching the aliens' mission from the beginning. "I understand you're leaving us?" Susan said as they sat in the crystal meeting room. "Admiral Wright," Elder Sixara said, "we must return to the Council with new information about your species. The galaxy is not prepared for what humanity represents." "And what do we represent?" Evolution's answer to the impossible. "Every species in the galaxy has limits. There are places we cannot go, things we cannot survive, risks we cannot take. But humans have no limits." "You turned your death world into a playground." Susan smiled. "We just learned to adapt." "Isn't that what life is supposed to do?" "Not like this," the elder said. "Admiral, your species has weaponized survival itself. You do not just endure hardship, you actively seek it out. You have created a culture based on conquering fear." "Is that a bad thing?" Elder Sixara thought about this question. "Perhaps not. But it means that humanity will change the galaxy forever. When your people leave this world and travel to the stars, nothing will ever be the same." The next morning, the aliens packed their crystal ship and prepared to leave. As they lifted off from Earth, Kethmer sent one final message to Amy Rodriguez. "Amy, thank you for showing us your world. We have learned much about courage and strength. Please be careful. Even though you are human, your planet is still very dangerous." Amy's response came back quickly. "Thanks for visiting. Come back anytime. Next time I'll take you to Australia. You'll love it there." Kethmore immediately deleted the message and blocked Amy's communication frequency. The alien ship reached orbit and began its journey back to the Galactic Council. In the ship's records, Earth was given a new classification, Class 13 Prime, maximum caution required. Inhabitants have evolved beyond standard survival parameters. Species demonstrates active, threat-seeking behavior. Recommend minimum contact protocols until Council determines appropriate response. Deep in the ship's computers, a final note was added to humanity's file. Warning, do not underestimate. Earth species considers danger a recreational activity. Back on Earth, Susan Wright filed her own report about first contact. She noted that the aliens seemed friendly but nervous and that cultural exchange had been successful. She recommended continued peaceful relations and looked forward to learning more about the galaxy. In a small note at the end of her report, she added, "The aliens seemed particularly interested in our extreme sports and outdoor recreation activities. Suggest developing cultural exchange programs around adventure tourism." Across the galaxy, the story of the Velthari mission to Earth became a legend. Young aliens,